What it be, Moose here. With Patty Jenkins' new film Wonder Woman 1984 out now, I decided to do my review for one of her first feature films, and that is the 2003 flick Monster. Now, believe it or not, before she directed 2017's Wonder Woman, her last feature before Wonder Woman was Monster. So she had not really done a film from 2003 until 2017. So talk about a big gap in between films. Anyway, now Monster is of course based on famed serial killer Aileen Wuornos, who's portrayed wonderfully by Charlize Theron, who won an Oscar for her performance here. And here she ends up meeting this young and reserved woman named Shelby Wall, portrayed by Christina Ricci. And there's also a romance between that blossoms. But she also meets this guy named John, portrayed by Lee Torgerson, who ends up attempting to brutalize Aileen, and so Aileen Wuornos ends up killing him, and she also resolves into prostitution. And not to mention, Aileen Wuornos also killed lots of guys, because when she was young, I think when she was like 13 or whatnot, she was like abused and all that, and since when she got older, she still kept getting abused. And I guess she didn't she figures enough is enough, so she ended up mostly killing guys. And of course, this is not a spoiler, it's based on true stories, so yeah, if you guys know the story about Aileen Wuornos, you guys know what really happens. In real life, she of course got executed for her crimes. I mean, believe it or not, her last meal on death row was a cigarette and black coffee. That's the weirdest thing to have on death row, but hey, you're gonna die anyway. I'm on death row, so pick your food, right? Anyway, now Lee Wuornos, of course, she was a monster. I mean, I never really thought that she was she was no Jeffrey Dahmer or John Wayne Gacy. I mean, she had a really traumatic experience as a child. And of course, because of that experience, she ended up killing lots of guys. And you can see, most of the guys that she killed tried to pretty much assault her. So yeah, I mean, she still don't serial killers don't really get sympathy, but Aileen Wuornos, I mean, you could tell, you could even understand why she did what she did. But that aside, Charlize Theron as Aileen Wuornos was terrific casting. I mean, Charlize Theron is obviously one of the most gorgeous women in Hollywood, but her portraying this vicious serial killer like Aileen Wuornos, because let's be real, Aileen Wuornos was not hot at all. She wasn't attractive or anything. So having Charlize Theron play a character like that with full makeup she wore and everything was perfect casting. I mean, Patty Jenkins, I thought did a really great job with a film like this. Of course, Charlize Theron won her first ever Oscar for the film. Well deserving right there. You also had some other interesting cast members in this too. Like you had a Walking Dead actor, Scott Wilson, Prue Taylor, Vince. Bruce Dern was also in this. But the performances, chemistry between Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci is really solid. I thought they really were terrific together. And yeah, I thought this movie was a really solid film. I mean, it's definitely, Wonder Woman is great, but her best work is and will always be Monster. Monster is such a terrific watch. I mean, I'm always a sucker for movies about real-life serial killers, whether it's that movie about Ted Bundy, whether it's a film about Jeffrey Dahmer or whatnot. Something about serial killers, I don't know, just fascinates me sometimes. And Monster is definitely one of them. I mean, if you guys never really seen Monster, give it a shot. It's a really interesting watch. I mean, it really goes into Aileen Wuornos' backstory of who she was and whatnot. There's also a pretty good documentary about Aileen Wuornos too. Anyway, let me leave you guys. Have you ever seen the Patty Jenkins film Monster? If so, what you thought of it? Were you a fan of it? Were you not a fan of it? Do you know much about the story of Aileen Wuornos? Drop comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Simu signing off.